This message is being broadcast at the request of the United States Geological Survey, and is being transmitted through the National Weather Service. An earthquake warning has been issued for the counties of, but is not limited to, Skamania, Clark, Cowicz, Lewis, Yakima, and Klickitat, active immediately and until further notice. At 8:09 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, a magnitude 5.7 earthquake was reported 10 miles to the northwest of Mount St. Helens in Washington state. This earthquake occurred in a relatively low population area, but anybody within a 60-mile radius should prepare for earthquake conditions immediately. Seek shelter in a sturdy structure immediately. If you are indoors, get under a large piece of furniture, such as a large table. If you don't have something like this to take shelter under, stand under a large, interior door frame in your home, preferably towards the center of the structure. Do not go outside, unless you believe your structure is at risk of immediate collapse. If you absolutely have to go outside, be wary of gas lines and other hazards. Gas lines may rupture due to this event. If you smell natural gas when outdoors and hear a hissing sound, get away from that area immediately. Fires may start from these leaking gas lines or other utility failures. If you see a fire, remain a safe distance away and contact 911. Stay tuned to local news media and the National Weather Service for more information and future updates on this event. Repeating, an earthquake warning has been issued for the counties of, but is not limited to, Skamania, Clark, Cowicz, Lewis, Yakima, and Klickitat, active immediately and until further notice.
Hello everyone, my name is James Bold, lead news anchor and reporter for First Coast Weather and News. Today, we will be discussing a developing situation out of the northwestern United States. The United States Geological Survey has been conducting research regarding the infamous Mount St. Helens, located in Washington state. Over the past week, numerous earthquakes big and small have been reported in southwestern Washington state. Concerningly, these earthquakes have been occurring very close to the now dormant Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens is infamous for having a massive eruption around 40 years ago, killing hundreds of people and becoming one of the largest volcanic eruptions to occur on the U.S. mainland in our time. However, the volcano has seen no activity since 2008. This may soon change as the United States Geological Survey has stated that the volcano could see another major eruption if this increased seismic activity continues. With a 5.7 earthquake occurring early yesterday morning, many fear that time is running out. Thankfully, this volcano is out of the way of any major cities and would likely not have a major impact on many areas. Despite this, residents that live in rural areas nearby are being urged to keep a close eye on the volcano and be ready to evacuate if needed. We will keep you updated as we learn more about this situation. For our next story, how residents around the First Coast have been ringing in the new year.
This message is being broadcast at the request of the United States Geological Survey, and is being transmitted through the National Weather Service. A volcanic eruption warning has been issued for the area surrounding the Mount St. Helens volcano in Skamania County, Washington. An earthquake rated at 5.9 on the Richter scale was reported near the base of Mount St. Helens. A volcanic eruption is imminent. While no exact time is known, it can be said with significant confidence that Mount St. Helens will erupt within the next hour. While this volcano is in a mostly rural area, it is still advised that residents nearby prepare for a potentially devastating event. If you are within 10 miles of the volcano, you must evacuate the area immediately. Anyone who lives within a 30-mile radius is strongly urged to take shelter now. Take shelter in a sturdy structure, and remain away from windows. Aftershocks from the initial earthquake may still be possible, and could potentially be stronger than the initial shock. The eruption of Mount St. Helens may cause a pyroclastic flow, which could cause devastating damage to the area around the mountain. A pyroclastic flow is a superheated cloud of volcanic materials, ash, and gases that can lay waste to a wide area with little to no forewarning. If you spot a pyroclastic flow moving your way, the best thing you can do is get to the lowest floor of your shelter and pray. Stay tuned to local news media and the National Weather Service for more information and future updates on this event.
Good evening, Portland. This is station KXL-FM, here with your 5 o'clock evening news. Earlier this morning, a major eruption occurred just over state lines at Mount St. Helens in Washington state. Most of you probably know that around 42 years ago, Mount St. Helens had a major eruption that laid waste to much of the surrounding area. Well, it looks like history may have just repeated itself again today. While the United States Geological Survey will be investigating further into this event over the coming days, some experts claim that this eruption may have been more intense than the eruption in 1980. As of now, there have been no reported injuries or deaths, but that may change as rescue crews move into the area overnight and into tomorrow morning. The main area they will be checking out is a silver mine, located around 15 miles south of the volcano. It is unknown if workers were there at the time, but rescue teams will be heading there tomorrow morning as a precaution. The National Weather Service has been helping monitor the situation through satellite imagery, and the picture is not looking good. It is believed the pyroclastic flow slammed into the mine, along with much of the surrounding area, igniting almost everything in its path. The lava flow from the main eruption has also been crawling slowly south throughout the day. The eruption has already put a large amount of ash into the atmosphere, leading to hazy conditions across much of the southern Washington state area and northwestern Oregon. Residents with respiratory illnesses or other chronic conditions related to the lungs are being advised to remain indoors due to low air quality. While the main eruption is believed to be over, it is expected that smaller eruptions will follow and that Mount St. Helens could remain relatively active for at least the next week. We will now hand the broadcast over to Steve, who is in our weather center. So Steve, what's weather looking like over the coming days, and how will it impact recovery efforts and the ash plume from the eruption?
Well, John, the National Weather Service has been forecasting that a high-pressure system will move over the region between the 8th and 11th of January, and it looks like it's arriving just on time. Not much precipitation is expected with the system, as it is a high-pressure system. This means that residents across the Pacific Northwest can expect to see mostly sunny conditions, along with very high winds in some areas, especially in the higher elevations. Winds will be flowing primarily out of the north, likely pushing a majority of the ash plumes southward. The areas most likely to see heavy ash concentration include, but are not limited to, the residents of southwestern Washington state, much of western Oregon, and extreme northern California. This displaces the city of Portland almost directly in the line of fire. The National Weather Service and local fire crews are worried about that a major wildfire could break out due to what has already been an exceptionally rough drought season, and this eruption will most likely not help that at all. Residents in the area are being urged to not engage in any outdoor activities that could spark a fire, such as grilling, making campfires, smoking near dry areas, or using fireworks. After particularly difficult past 2 fire seasons, we are hoping that conditions do not worsen in the area. That is all from us down here in the weather department, John. Back to you.
Well, you heard it from the expert himself, folks. We hope anyone that has been directly impacted by the eruption has a speedy recovery. On to our next story for the evening, looking at new bills that could be getting signed into law for the new year.
This message is being broadcast at the request of the National Weather Service office in Portland, Oregon. A high wind warning has been issued for much of western Oregon state until January 12, 2022 at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This warning extends to the counties of, but is not limited to, Clatsop, Columbia, Tillamook, Yamahill, Washington, Multnomah, Marion, Polk, Lincoln, Benton, Lane, Lynn, Lane, Coos, Douglas, Curry, Josephine, Jackson, Clackamas, Hood River, Wasco, Jefferson, Deschutes, and Klamath. High wind conditions are still possible to the east of the warned area, but the previously listed counties are the main areas of concern. Due to a high-pressure system that is expected to set in across the area today, wind speeds are expected to stay steady at around 40 to 50 miles per hour during the daytime hours, with wind gusts exceeding 80 miles per hour possible. People should avoid being outside, in forested areas, and around trees and branches. If possible, remain in the lower levels of your home during the windstorm, and avoid windows. Use caution if you must drive. If the windstorm has not begun in your location as of this time, it is urged that you secure any loose objects on your property, or move them indoors for the duration of this event. Higher elevations in the area are much more likely to experience higher sustained winds, along with higher wind gusts. Stay tuned to local news media and the National Weather Service for more information and future updates on this event. Repeating, a high wind warning has been issued for much of western Oregon State until January 12, 2022 at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This message is being broadcast at the request of the National Weather Service office in Portland, Oregon, in conjunction with the Oregon Office of Emergency Management. A red flag warning has been issued for the state of Oregon until January 13, 2022, at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Due to a combination of low humidities, unseasonably warm temperatures, and high wind conditions in the area, a large majority of the state has been placed under a critical fire danger by the National Weather Service. This means conditions for a wildfire to develop are favorable. A select few counties have been placed under an extreme fire danger category, which mainly includes the counties of Sherman, Wasco, Wheeler, Crook, Deschutes, Lake, and Klamath. This area is believed to be at a greater risk due to exceptional drought conditions in the area. Despite this, all of Oregon State should be on high alert for the rapid development of wildfires. The central and eastern portions of the state are at the highest risk for rapid development of wildfires. Residents in these areas are being urged to not engage in activities that could spark a fire, such as grilling, making campfires, smoking near dry areas, or using fireworks. Stay tuned to local news media and the National Weather Service for more information and future updates on this event. Repeating, a red flag warning has been issued for the state of Oregon until January 13, 2022, at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
This NOAA weather station is running on abbreviated mode due to severe weather in our viewing area. Please monitor local weather conditions closely, as severe weather can develop quickly and without warning.
This message is being broadcast at the request of the National Weather Service, in conjunction with the Oregon Office of Emergency Management. A severe weather statement has been issued for the counties of Wasco, Sherman, and Jefferson until 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. At around 1:15 p.m. local time, the National Weather Service, along with train weather spotters, reported a dry thunderstorm near the Dalles, along the Columbia River in Wasco County, Oregon. This storm will likely continue to drift southeastward at around 25 miles per hour. A dry thunderstorm is typically caused by wildfires, where smoke condensates in the high levels of the atmosphere to cause a pyrocumulonimbus cloud. These storm clouds share some similarities to usual cumulonimbus clouds, but have the main distinction of having little to no precipitation. It is believed that this storm cloud began around 20 miles south of Mount St. Helens in Washington State, then began to drift to the southeast due to high winds in the area. The source of this pyrocumulonimbus cloud is likely from large fires that were spurred by the eruption of Mount St. Helens. Residents in the path of this storm can expect frequent cloud-to-ground lightning strikes, along with high wind gusts due to downdrafts. If you are under this warning, it is advised that you remain indoors for the duration of this event. Do not wait for the sound of thunder to take cover, as lightning can strike from over 10 miles away from the primary storm cloud. Due to heavy drought conditions in the area, even just one lightning strike could potentially spark a large wildfire. If you observe a wildfire taking form in your area, Contact your local fire department or emergency management agency immediately, and evacuate if possible. Do not attempt to extinguish wildfires yourself, and even small sparks can rapidly develop into a large fire due to dry conditions in the area. For more information and future updates on this event, stay tuned to the National Weather Service. Repeating, a severe weather statement has been issued for the counties of Wasco, Sherman, and Jefferson until 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This message is being broadcast at the request of the National Weather Service, in conjunction with the Oregon Office of Emergency Management. A wildfire warning has been issued for Jefferson County, Oregon, until further notice. At around 3:45 p.m. local time, a wildfire was reported to have started near the municipality of Warm Springs. The fire started just east of United States Highway 26, and is spreading rapidly to the north and northwest. It is believed that this wildfire was sparked by a lightning strike from a dry thunderstorm passing through the area. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Due to a variety of factors, it is incredibly likely that this fire will spread at a rapid rate, laying waste to any town it comes into contact with. Towns in the path for the near future include, but are not limited to, Warm Springs, Gateway, Madras, Metolius, and Culver. Residents in these areas are being urged to evacuate to the north if you are north of the fire, or to the west if you are in its path. Stay tuned to the National Weather Service and the Oregon Office of Emergency Management for more information and future updates on this event.
Good morning, Portland. This is station KXL FM, and I'm your host, John Goodman, here with breaking news. Last evening, a rare phenomenon from the state of Oregon occurred around the small community of Warm Springs. A dry thunderstorm caused by molten magma and fires, which were spurred by a volcanic eruption of Mount St. Helens last week, sparked new wildfires far away from the initial site of the eruption and subsequent lava flow. Dry thunderstorms are a form of severe weather that often contain little to no precipitation but is still able to produce thunder and lightning. This can cause major problems, as lightning can quickly ignite dry foliage on the ground, and with little to no precipitation to stop the fire, it can spread rapidly. And that is exactly what a new wildfire, coined the Marble Fire, has been doing. Even though it has not been a full 24 hours since its start, it has spread more than 20 miles to the northwest of Warm Springs. This rapid development has been aided by abnormally dry conditions in the area, along with high wind conditions out of the southeast. The National Weather Service has estimated that the fire could spread another 20 miles by the end of the day, if not more. Firefighters are being deployed from all across the state to combat this fire. Residents upwards of 150 miles to the northwest of the Marble Fire are being urged to watch for rapidly changing conditions in the coming days. To monitor the progress of the fire, feel free to stay tuned into our station or consult the National Weather Service website for more information on this dangerous event.
This message is being broadcast at the request of civil authorities within the state of Oregon. This is an administrative message, and is being issued for everyone within the Portland metropolitan area. While there is no active emergency as of this time, it is urged you listen carefully. Firefighters have been working tirelessly to contain the rapidly spreading Marble Fire, which has now reached within 80 miles of the Portland metropolitan area. While this wildfire has remained mostly over rural areas, there have been deaths reported in relation to this fire. Civil authorities in the area are asking you to limit the amount of water you use daily. Firefighters need all the water they can to help extinguish these flames before they reach any further. Due to the Marble Fire staying over mostly rural areas for now, the water lines will remain open to most residences until it is more desperately needed. Do not be surprised if the water supply has been turned off in the coming days if the fire continues to approach the Portland metropolitan area. For drinking water, it is advised that you drink prepackaged containers of water to help take the strain off of the water supply. If you must bathe, do not take baths, and only take short showers if necessary. We understand that this may be difficult to adjust to, but we are only doing what is best for the people, and for the safety of our city. Thank you for your cooperation, it is greatly appreciated. For more information, please consult the official State Government of Oregon website. Thank you for your time. This message is being broadcast at the request of civil authorities within the Portland metropolitan area. This is an emergency update, which will contain information regarding the situation involving the Marble Fire. Please listen carefully, as important information will follow this message. The Marble Fire has continued to burn thousands of acres of rural land in Oregon State, and it shows no signs of letting up. As of 11:30 a.m. this morning, local fire crews reported that the Marble Fire has reached within 50 miles of downtown Portland, and is still rapidly expanding. With wind shifting from blowing out of the north to out of the south, this fire has plenty of fuel to keep spreading. Residents within 25 miles of the fire, which is now around the town of Ripplebrook, are being urged to evacuate immediately. It is very likely that evacuation efforts will have to begin for parts of the Portland metropolitan area in the coming days. If an evacuation order is issued for your area, gather your personal belongings as quickly as possible, and follow the instructions given in the order. The city power supply may begin running on lower strength, or may be cut off entirely in the coming days, to try and prevent new fires from spreading if power lines or the electrical grid becomes damaged. Stay tuned to local news media for more information and future updates on this event.
Good evening, Portland. My name is John with KXL-FM, serving the Portland metropolitan area. The topic on everyone's mind around the area today is the Marble Fire and its potential impact on the city of Portland. Many local agencies are giving dire warnings of what might be to come in the following days, and for more as to why the fire has been so historic already, we'll be giving it over to Steve in the Weather Center. So Steve, can you explain how and why this fire started, and how has it been spreading so fast?
Sure thing, John. Truly, this has been a sort of perfect events for this storm, all lining up to cause this disastrous fire. It all started on January 5th, where Mount St. Helens in Washington State was showing signs of activity again, when an earthquake was reported nearby. Then on the 7th, the volcano blew its top again for the first time in over 40 years. Following the eruption, a high-pressure system began to move into the Pacific Northwest, causing dry, windy conditions to develop. As Mount St. Helens lava flow moved south, it began to cause minor fires around the area. From one of these fires, which we believe happened at the foot of the lava flow, a rare weather phenomenon known as a pyrocumulonimbus cloud formed. To put it simply, it's a thunderstorm caused by fires. This storm drifted south, producing a dry thunderstorm, a storm with little to no precipitation. There's been some chatter about the high electricity output of the storm, considering it likely started due to this fire at the silver mine. The area was surrounded by dense forestation, and some have even theorized that the melted metal contribution to the high electricity content in the air due to silver being a highly conductive metal. Following the fire somewhere near Warm Springs, Oregon, lightning was likely the culprit of starting what has now been known as the Marble Fire. As the high-pressure system lifted and wind shifted to coming out of the southeast, the spread of the wildfire was pushed to the northwest, leading us to where we are today.
We will get back to you in a minute, but first I will discuss more about the Marble Fire. It was reported the Marble Fire had spread within 50 miles of the Portland area today, with it showing little signs of letting up. Firefighters are swarming into Oregon from surrounding states to help fight the effort, but with seemingly little progress made. As of 2 p.m. this afternoon, the National Weather Service reported that the Marble Fire was only around 20% contained. Local officials have been working together with the National Weather Service to try and sort out a plan of action, but the outlook is grim. It is currently estimated that the fire may reach the Portland metropolitan area in the next 1 to 3 days, and that it likely cannot be stopped. With the weather not cooperating at all with fire crews and just the sheer size of the fire, it's hard to see why they believe that. So, Steve, is there any hope for us here in Portland?
This message is being broadcast at the request of civil authorities within the Portland metropolitan area, in conjunction with the state government of Oregon. An immediate evacuation order has been issued for the Portland metropolitan area, active immediately and until further notice. This order has been issued due to the rapidly deteriorating conditions involving the Marble Fire, which has consumed thousands of acres of land in Oregon, and it is showing no signs of slowing down anytime soon. While an exact time and date is still unknown, it is estimated that the Marble Fire will reach Portland within the next 3 days. This is a particularly dangerous and life-threatening situation. All residents that reside in the Portland metropolitan area are being urged to make evacuation plans now, before it is too late. The best route to leave the city quickly will likely be Interstate 5, heading southbound away from the fire. Due to the fire spreading in a northwestwardly direction, it is not advised that you travel to the north or to the east. Traffic will very likely be heavy on roadways, but please be patient with one another, as we are all in the same boat with this event. Residents that do not evacuate the city will very likely face devastating conditions, ones that may cost you your life. When evacuating, bring only what is needed with you, such as food, clothing, drinking water, important medical documents, medications, and anything else necessary for you to function in daily life. Public transport will be utilized to help shuttle people away from harm who do not have a means of evacuating on their own. Thank you for your cooperation, it is greatly appreciated. For more information and future updates on this event, stay tuned to local news media, or consult the State Government of Oregon website. This message is being broadcast at the request of government officials within the state of Oregon, in conjunction with the National Weather Service. A fire warning has been issued for the Portland metropolitan area, active immediately and until further notice. As of 6 a.m. this morning, reports from the National Weather Service have indicated that the outskirts of the Marble Fire have reached the outer limits of Portland, Oregon. This is a particularly dangerous and life-threatening situation. If you have not evacuated Portland yet, it may be too late. Most roads in the city have been shut down in order to try and let fire crews attempt to extinguish the fires, and conditions outside are too dangerous to traverse. However, attempting to escape on foot may be attempted as an absolute last resort option. It is estimated that the Marble Fire will have scorched most of the city of Portland within the next 24 hours. Some broadcasting stations will remain online to transmit important information through the duration of this event. Stay tuned to local news media for more information and future updates on this event.
We have on the Marble Fire for now. Alright, Steve. We've done all we can. We've provided the live coverage. We can't be expected to die for this. Go get the car started.
Alright, I'll get it warmed up for us. John. I think it might be too late for us to go now.
What the hell do you mean?
The streets are covered with debris and the fire is spreading quickly to the station. I think this might be it for us.
No, come the fuck on. We need to go. Get to the car.
Hello everyone, my name is James Bold, lead news anchor and reporter for First Coast Weather and News. Today in national news, we will be going to the state of Oregon to cover a devastating wildfire that has scorched much of the state. The Marble Fire, which was spurred by a lightning strike over a week ago, has beaten out the Biscuit Fire of 2002 to become the largest fire in Oregon state history. As of this morning, it has been reported that the fire has scorched upwards of 900 square miles of land, or about 576,000 acres. The Marble Fire has been reported to have killed hundreds of people, and will likely spread all the way to the northwestern coast of Oregon. This has truly been a sobering event for all of us, especially the residents of Oregon. The truly devastating part of this fire is its effect on Portland, the biggest city in the state, housing nearly 650,000 people. It will likely be weeks before the full extent of the fire's damage is known for the city, but based on preliminary estimates, the picture is grim. It is estimated that at least a third of the structures in the metropolitan area sustained some degree of fire damage, with at least 15% of those structures sustaining enough damage that they likely cannot be salvaged. The governor of Oregon is currently calling on Washington for federal aid, as multiple counties have been declared disaster zones. Thankfully, decent progress has been made on the fire, with it being estimated to be around 35% contained as of this afternoon, which is a drastic jump from the 20% that was reported just 3 days ago. Our hearts go out to everyone in the state of Oregon that was, and those that will continue to be affected by this fire. We here at First Coast Weather and News hope to see an end to this ordeal very soon. Thank you for tuning into First Coast Weather and News for this news update. Have a good day wherever you are.